So,
How long? Okay.
so we're at the period in 1972 when I'm in the psychiatric hospital and my mum finds me a job. She brings the application form to the hospital, I fill it in, I get called up for an interview. Mum and Dad pick me up, drive me down for the interview, and I get the job. So I leave the hospital and have outpatient treatment, and the job goes quite well, really. The trouble was that December the 17th, 1972 was a beautiful sunny day. I finished lunch, Sunday lunch with Mum and Dad, and I looked out of the window seeing a bright blue sky, and stood outside, and I thought, okay, I'm not staying in, I should go out on the motorbike. And I went and picked up my friend Tim. He didn't have any crash helmets, and that's the last thing I remember. I landed up in the Gloucestershire Royal Hospital with severe concussion, and I stayed there for a week. I had a further 3 weeks off work recovering, and I eventually settled back into the work okay, and then I decided to try and boost my energy a bit, because my head was a bit hazy, and I'd learned a technique of transcendental meditation while I was living in Bath in 1972. I tried it for a short while in June and it hadn't worked, so I thought, well, it's supposed to boost the energy, and I did it again, and it worked this time. And not only did it work, it gave me all sorts of crazy ideas. So within another 3 months or so, I'd left the coal merchant's job. I was a training manager of the coal merchants, which was a job with prospects, but I decided to go and be a lorry driver, and it was totally unsuitable. I wasn't strong enough, it was physically quite demanding, and I began to discover that my memory wasn't functioning the way it did before the accident. I would go to a place one week, and then I'd try and find it again the next week, and I'd forgotten how to get there. So it caused a lot of confusion. I would arrive home late at night, and Mum would be ringing the office to see where I was. I also had several accidents with the lorry. Once was when I was filling it up with petrol, and I pulled away, and I managed to pull the petrol pump over with the back rear bumper. And I drove off without saying anything. I got on my way, and of course it got a real telling off, but the boss found out about this. I gave up in the end because it was just too much for me. The stress was too much. I didn't realise at the time what an effect the motorcycle accident had. Severe concussion, people do recover from it completely, but it seemed that I wasn't. And I also had diplopia, which is double vision. I still have it. That means that when I look down, I don't see one of something, I see two of it. I got a temporary job. Another thing that the Department of Employment do in England, if you're out of work for some time, is they employ you as a clerical officer at the Department of Employment. and this was in Bristol, and I quite enjoyed it. I was interviewing people who were claiming unemployment benefit, and they were across the other side of the table answering questions, and I would fill in the form and say, we'll be in touch, and in time they would receive their cheque or giro for unemployment benefit. And one day I was interviewing a very attractive young lady, and I decided to make a note of her name and address, and send a joke letter in the post. I said, I hope you enjoyed the meeting with our representative today, and here is the first instalment of your money. And I got one of these notes you can get from a joke novelty shop, which is says, you know, pay the bearer from the bank of never pay. And she must have told the Department of Employment, because I was called into the office and instantly dismissed. So that was the end of that job. Things were not going well, and I got a job at the laundry, being general assistant, and packing the vans with baskets of laundry, or filling the tumble dryer with clothes. A very nice lady called Tiny that I used to work with. I put them in one side. They went tumble, 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 dry, 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 warm, warm, warm. She took them out the other side. She chatted to me, you know. She tried to make me feel happy. And in fact, one of the staff even suggested to me that I apply as an assistant manager there at the laundry, but I simply didn't have the confidence to do that level of work. My thoughts were still disordered and depressed. And one evening at home I decided, oh well, if the overdose didn't work, then I will electrocute myself. That's my next method of suicide. So I had this bedside lamp which I'd made at Ross Grammar School, and I took the wires out of it and sellotaped the wires to my hand, and with great amount of strength and effort I flicked the switch, thinking it would kill me instantly, and all that happened was that I got blown across the other side of the room with a big flash and had a horrible burn in my hand. But there we are. I didn't know anything about electricity, and I had to make an excuse to my mother of why I bandaged up my hand. Nevertheless, all of this time I had some good friends in Ross. We would go out to the pub, I would go around their houses, and we would talk and listen to music, smoke dope. And actually on one occasion, while I was working at the laundry, a police car suddenly turned up, and they went to the office first of all, and while I was loading up this van with baskets of laundry, they came up and said to me, Martin Lewis, yes, we'd like you to accompany us to the police station so that we can ask you some questions. And what had happened was some girl that I'd been talking to, who was at one of the schools, they'd had this class telling them all about drugs. And during one part of the class, the teacher had asked all the pupils, do any of you know anywhere you can buy cocaine? And this girl put her hand up and said, yes, Martin Lewis sells it. So that was why the police came round to my house, and they searched my bedroom, and fortunately there was nothing there. I mean, I sometimes had little bits of cannabis stashed away because I did smoke it with my friends, but there was nothing there at the time. And of course the police realised that this was a load of nonsense and apologised to my mum and never heard any more about it.
Oh.